Hello, Marian from Language Studio Euphema here. Today we are going to take a look at prepositions of place. There are three basic prepositions of place in English: in, on, and at. They express where something is located. For example, in an area, on a surface, or at a point. Let's start with the preposition in. We use in when we say that the person or a thing is located in an area or a place that is somehow limited, that has some borders, there has some walls, that has some boundaries or dividing lines. So we can say that we use in with enclosed or borders areas. These people are in the office because there are walls around them. The man is in the garden because there is a fence probably around him that delimits the garden. The people are snorkeling in the sea because the seawater is all around them. The preposition in English is mainly used with large geographic areas, like in Europe. Outside areas, for example, in the park. Towns, for example, in Bratislava. Rooms, like in the kitchen. And with some other nouns, for example, in bed. As we saw before, in can be mostly translated into Slovak as v. For example, in the bag, translation is like this. But that's not always true, because as always, there are some exceptions. In the following cases, in can be translated as na into the Slovak language and vice versa. Let's talk about the preposition on. We use on when we say that the person or thing is on a surface. Very often, but not always, it is a flat area. So, for example, we say on the floor, on the table, on the window, on the wall, on the ceiling, on the door. There are many other expressions with on. In all these cases, on can be easily translated as na into the Slovak language. And now let's take on the preposition at. At is probably the most complicated preposition of place to master for many Slovak English learners. The problem is that it can't be easily translated in a Slovak. It can be translated as na, or v, or pri, or u. So as you can see, it has many translations. To learn how to use at, we need to understand the concept of its use, not only its translation. In general, we use at when we want to express that somebody or something is at a certain point, at a point where a certain activity is commonly done. For example, at school. It's a place where people learn. So the activity of learning is performed there. Or at church. It is a place where people pray. At is commonly used with public places, like for example, at the airport. Some nouns without an article, like at home or at school. And events, like for example, at a party. In these cases, at can be translated into Slovak as na. But as I said before, prepositions cannot be easily translated like this every single time. So don't rely exclusively on translations, because a translation can easily backfire. Let's check out a case when at means na in the Slovak language. So every Slovak person would understand the difference between these two sentences. This one and this one. In both cases, we use na in Slovak, but their English translations are different. When we say this, in Slovak we say na, but we don't mean on top of something. On the other hand, in this sentence, we also say na, but we mean on top of something. So, Slovak na has two meanings. It means at that place where people send letters and parcels, or which means on top of a building, literally on it. Because of that, we say at the post office, I'm here, I'm at this location, or on the roof, I'm on top of the building. Slovak students of English often make a mistake here because they simply translate Slovak na as on in English. Slovak na, in the sense of at a point or at a place, is in English at. And Slovak na, in the sense of on top of something or on the surface of something, is on in English. To understand better, let's check out the following examples. In the first column, we have the figurative sense of na, which is translated as at in the English language. In the second column, we have also na here, but it is its literal sense. And it means literally, physically, on a surface. As always, also here there are some exceptions, like for example, on holiday, on a business trip, at home, and at work. Remember that translations can be very helpful when you're learning English, but they are never 100% bulletproof. There are always exceptions. Let's now check out a case when English at means pri in the Slovak language. For example, you can say a sentence, "We'll meet at your car." "I'll wait at the entrance." Or, "She's at her desk." At can also mean something like u in Slovak. For example, "I spent Christmas at my parents'." We can use at also when we speak about services. For example, "I was at the dentist's." Make sure that you understand the difference between the position and the movement. We need to understand that the verb go is always connected with movement, and because of that, we have to use preposition to with go. So I'm going to work, I'm moving, I'm on my way. On the other hand, when you already are somewhere, you're stationary, you're not moving, so you are at that place. For example, you can say, "I'm at work." Let's now review and practice what we have learned. We are going to start with translations. Translate the following bits. In the room. At work. On the nose. On the floor. At the conference. It's a location, it's an event as well. In water. At school. At a meeting. At university. In Slovakia. Don't say on Slovakia. In Slovakia. It's a town in Vienna. That's a tricky one. In a picture. We don't say on a picture. In the picture. A concert is a cultural event, so we say at a concert. In the garden. Public place, At the station. On the surface. On the table. Let's practice even more with pictures. Please answer, where are the people or things? The people are at a concert. In Paris. In the park. On the grass. Yeah, the man is at the hairdresser's. The armchair is, you guessed it, on the floor. The lamp is on the table. The furniture is in the room. There are walls enclosing the room. They are sitting at the table. The coffee is on the table. They are at a meeting. They are sitting at the window. That's a beautiful shot. She is not on Slovakia, she is in Slovakia. Slovakia is a country. It has some borders. That's why we have to say in. She is sitting on the rock. She's sitting on top of it, so on the rock. She is in the mountains. She has a rucksack on her back. Okay, I hope that this brief presentation helped you a little bit to consolidate your knowledge on English prepositions of place. If you liked the video, like it, or even better, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.